Welcome back to the Pot of Greed.
Welcome back indeed, folks. It's another week. There's more Yu-Gi-Oh! There's more card games.
And just more stuff.
A lot of stuff. Just stuff. But before we get into all of that, one's in chat if you're watching the premiere.
Premiere gang, rise up.
I realized I have forgotten to say that in the last couple of pods.
I snuck it in last pod.
Yeah, somebody reminded me of that. So, one's in chat if you're watching the premiere. Always appreciate it. And of course, you also appreciate giving 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen to it.
Yeah, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Helps us out. The metadata goes a long way in helping the podcast to grow. Speaking of growing, one other thing too.
Join our channel members, y'all. We're 50 deep right now.
Yeah,
and,
50 channel members is crazy. I really was surprised that we got to like 10.
I thought 8. I thought 8 was going to be the cap off for that. I didn't see that coming.
For those who don't know, that's just the YouTube memberships feature. You can support the podcast by paying just $2 a month, and it gets you access to a bonus episode every single week.
If we reach 1,000, Paul has to get everyone's names tattooed on his back.
Yeah, you as well. And we'll record it all as well.
Wait, no, that never mind, guys. I take it back.
So, yes, thank you guys, as always, for all the support. Now, let's get into the Yu-Gi-Oh! This is actually something of a light Yu-Gi-Oh! News week.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had so much Yu-Gi-Oh! In the past weeks that it has to happen, so that's fair.
Yeah, so the first major thing is that YCS Niagara Falls happened this past weekend up in Canada.
Yeah, stacked tournament.
Yeah, pretty stacked tournament. 875 duelists, which some people thought was actually like a small number, but that actually is the record high for any Canadian YCS event. I was told
875 is that's a very respectable number for a tournament.
Yeah, so this is the largest Canadian YCS. All the big names that you would expect were there. You had your Jesse Cottons, you had your Chris LeBlancs, you had Pac.
Your Team Samurai X1s.
Yeah, people were watching him to see if he would, make a big showing.
Back to back.
Yeah, he didn't top this time, but I heard he still did pretty reasonably well. So Landon Oliver won this YCS with Fire King, Snake Eye, Azamina.
Which is about what we expected, right? That we had a good feeling that was going to be a real deck. Well, okay, I lied. I didn't think the Fire King aspect would be as prominent.
Yeah, so Fire Kings did get that new card in Volcanics. Actually waiting on a couple of hours to come in the mail so we can work on our upcoming fire versus water theme duel. But more importantly,
ice and hot.
Wet and heat. What that is...
Okay. Moist and warm?
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like a bacteria meeting ground.
Yeah, I mean, I know Volcanics did change the Fire King strategy pretty significantly. I didn't know how much it would because it's been in Master Duel for so long, and so I've just been used to it. But it does make that strategy really strong. And then obviously people knew that Azamina was going to be like kind of the next big thing for Snake Eye variants, and looked like it did come to be true.
Yeah, so I guess we're now in our Snake Eye, Azamina, Fire King, Fiendsmith format.
Something like that, at least.
At least we would be if it weren't for that second place.
Yeah, so the runner-up was Ryan Yu playing Sky Striker, pure Sky Striker, and this took everybody for a loop.
Because that was, Paul's not exaggerating when he says that was a pure list. I mean,
Ryan Yu, I think that most people at this point should be familiar with who he is. He's kind of acclaimed for playing Labyrinth. Mm-hmm. He's acclaimed for winning Worlds this year and also being in the finals last year. Really phenomenal player. And he was playing Sky Striker, and people were like, oh, okay, it must be just filled to the brim with hand traps, or maybe it's like a Sky Striker Fiendsmith variant or something. No. Actually, when his deck list came out, he is running 3 Ray in a rows, 4 monsters in his deck. 4, and there's no hand traps and just a bunch of powerful spell cards.
I think the most recent card I saw in the list was Dominus in his side.
Yeah, Dominus Impulse. It's the one that I think people are playing. It's kind of interesting because I think his thought process for the deck was, and you guys should go watch his profile, obviously, and get a lot better insights than anything I can contribute here. But because we've now had a lot of the generic Omni Negates like Barone and Borreload Savage Dragon banned, he was just running a lot of power spells and going second.
Boy, was he.
Yeah, I mean, you go second, right? Mm-hmm. And that way you can turn off your opponent's Molcharmi Fuelos. That's, it's can only be used while you have no cards. So if you make your opponent go first, then it won't be useful for them. And yeah, you just go second and break the board. He's running like Droplets, Raigeki, Cosmic Cyclones, Lightning Storms, Feather Dusters, Triple Tactics, like both Thrust and Talent. It's just, you go second, you tear that board apart, and then you just push in for game.
This sounds like more board breakers than Tenpai.
Yeah, if he needs to get damage on the board, that's not really an issue. In fact, it's just a bunch of Link monsters and like a Typhon, Sky Crisis. So I thought that was really cool. It goes to show that, like, despite the fact that, the meta decks maybe seem overbearing and like there's no use in playing anything that's not Azamina, Fiendsmith sort of type beat, no, you can do well with other things. So.
I mean, this was kind of a ray of hope. Not ray, but it was kind of like a ray of hope in this format. I think myself, along with many people, have been so bogged down by what modern day Yu-Gi-Oh has become, what we expect from winning deck lists, and
it's easy to get jaded about
quote unquote unfun it is to play Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Well, here we are, a basically pure Sky Striker list, and now some people didn't love 2019.
Yeah, people didn't love Sky Striker in 2019, but I think it's a breath of fresh air today.
I would actually go back to that in a heartbeat, and if Sky Striker can be competitive in 2024, what else
can? Well, actually, I'm glad you asked, because the top 32 did have a lot of Snake Eye decks. There were 9 Snake Eye variants, 4 Fire King variants, 5 Tenpai Dragons, and 5 Yubels. So a lot of the expected stuff was up there, but there were some interesting standouts. There was a single Labyrinth deck that also managed to get all the way up to top 4.
Always finds a way.
It always does. Centurion, Ritual Beast. There were Rescue Ace variants. There was, of course, a Plant Link deck. And
I saw that was by a German player. The Europeans always find a way of bringing plants.
Look what you did, Jessica. You ruined this game. No. She's great. And even an Exodia Millennium deck got top 32, which is wild to me. I had to go and look at the deck list. It was like pure. It wasn't even like Exodia Fiendsmith or, Exodia Snake Eye. It was like pure Exodia Millennium. I think the only non-pure thing, if you want to call it that, was he was running like Dimension Shifter. But
a shifter deck? Ew. No.
Yeah, so I just thought that was really cool. It goes to show maybe this format's not like as awful as some people maybe predicted it would be with the Mulch Army and all that stuff.
Now, caveat.
Yes.
We have to remember these are the topping players of the YCS at this 800 plus man strong tournament. Mm-hmm. These are really good players. Could Joe Blow bring Sky Strikers and top this event?
Yeah, and the answer is no.
Or does it have to be Ryan Yu?
Yeah, I do think I saw him tweeting about it. He kind of was saying like it feels like he's got the sort of world champ diff type of thing. Mm-hmm. If you watch Wolfie VGC, that's kind of his whole thing. Is like he's been the world champion enough times that like he can take something that is unconventional or kind of a bold pick and still make it work. And it just comes down to him having that experience and kind of having that X factor. Right. It kind of also makes me think about how like oftentimes people will, kind of scramble to get these deck lists when these events happen, right? Mm-hmm. Like where's the deck list? Where's the deck list? But they won't often think about like, okay, why is the deck list? Why did the person choose this deck? Why they pick these specific options? How did this weekend's sort of expected metagame influence that decision? And would you be able to just take that deck and win with it? Maybe not. You might need, some more practice and insight. So it's not just like Sky Striker's a top tier deck. Maybe it's just Ryan's a top tier player.
And we know he's a top tier player, so
yeah, he's proven himself.
Maybe we need more experiments. We need Ryan to start bringing more unconventional decks to YCSs and topping with them, so we can finally find out. I mean, is Sky Strikers competitive or is Ryan Yu competitive?
Yeah, well, we know the answer to at least one of those.
That's
things.
True, and or.
I mean, we've also seen like Jesse Cotton has kind of been playing like more just different, fun, random decks these YCS events. So I mean, I think it goes to show like if you are good enough. Anything can win. I mean, it takes preparation.
Wait, I don't like this narrative because now it just sounds like I'm bad.
Oh well, I mean, yes, right? Like we're not the ones. We're not up there winning. So.
But wait, I need that. I need my protection that I only don't top and
because
don't
you don't
win
have money
because I don't have a top tier deck. That's why I don't top events.
Right, of course.
Oh God, I might be bad.
So that was YCS Niagara Falls. Pretty cool. Does still seem like I guess they're giving out Nintendo Switches and stuff. But
so wait, what event was it that did the
Steam Deck was like a European event that happened recently.
Always got it better.
They have added a couple new prizes. There are some custom dice, like YCS dice, YCS sleeves, and those picture frames, like the one that they sent Noah Lyles.
I did see them. I saw them.
Okay, yeah. So they are giving that stuff out as like prizes. So
baby steps, Konami, just baby steps.
Yeah, it's something. It helps, I suppose. Anyway, though, as far as other Yu-Gi-Oh! News goes, I was checking Yu-Gi-Oh! News TCG, which is my go-to news provider, and it's mostly just been announcements of stuff in Supreme Darkness. A lot of, there's a new Six Samurai card coming. There's, we got some announcements of new Orchestra cards that are in the OCG Quarter Century Trinity box. No telling when that'll get imported for us. But
it'll show up here as a structure deck or something.
We saw the new Gym Knight support for Terminal World 2. Which, so if it's like what last year's was like, then we'll get this probably in a Battles of Legend next year or so.
I wonder if we'll get new Shaddolls again.
More Primite cards were announced. We got some new Max Metal Morph cards that are going to be in Supreme Darkness. That's pretty exciting.
The Max Flame Sword, not the Max, the Metal Flame Swordsman.
Yeah. So a new Goblin Bikers. I thought that was cool. New Azaminas. New Snake Eye boss monster, that Snake Eye's Damned Dragon.
Though calling it a boss monster feels wrong, since compared to
Flamberg,
it's definitely not.
I feel like they almost made this thing. So for reference about what we're talking about, Snake Eye's Damned Dragon, and it just takes a Snake Eye monster.
That will be censored.
Oh yeah, they're not. It's like Kick-Ass Goblin Bikers. They're definitely changing that.
Kick bottom.
So it takes a Snake Eye monster and an Illusion monster, and you have to just normally fusion summon it, or you can just send 2 face-up monster cards from your Spell and Trap Zone to the grave. So kind of cheat it out.
I wonder what decks do that.
But it's got the same stats as Flamberg, but all it does is when it's special summoned, you can target a face-up monster in the field and place it in the Spell and Trap Zone as a continuous spell. So it can out something on summon.
So I have a feeling just that effect is what Flamberg's effect was supposed to be. Instead of having the spell speed 1 version of that effect, it was supposed to be an on summon, but they were like, this is too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder if maybe they finally plan to just ban Flamberg Dragon, because it's something that a lot of people have said probably needs to happen, and this would still give Snake Eyes access to a sort of boss monster that's on theme without it being the obviously more broken Flamberg Dragon.
Months ago, I would have been like, but hitting Flamberg to 1, you have to hit it to 1, just because if you ban it, then Snake Eyes are just nothing. But I think at this point, we know Snake Eyes won't be nothing, even if Flamberg's at 0.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That deck is definitely
it'll stick around. In order to kill Snake Eyes, you gotta kill a lot more than just Poplar and Ash to 1.
Yeah. Now the last thing in the TCG that's kind of note is that we got OTS Pack 26. It's finally released. And there's a bit of controversy around it because the 3 ultimate rares in the set are Low of the Voiceless Voice, which I want to get some copies of because I play that deck. Diabellstar, which I
want one of those.
Definitely be a huge deal. And Phantom of Yubel, and people are talking about how the foil printing on Phantom of Yubel is not very pretty. It's kind of this blocky, pixelated sort of effect on the card that I guess they're all sort of using.
They all do have it, but
it looks worse on Phantom of Yubel.
Okay, so when you scroll through them, right? Yeah. So the character of Diabellstar is not in foil, so you can see her just fine.
Yeah, she's not obscured.
Same thing with Low.
Same with Low.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, with Phantom of Yubel, they basically applied this foil effect to that the sort of yellow illusion-ish
it's
kind of silhouette. Not silhouette, but
it's like a ghost or it's energy. It's a phantom, right?
And it just doesn't look great.
It looks horrible.
Yeah, people are not too pleased with the look. It might be better in person.
I'm hoping it's like that was a specific angle that looked bad. That maybe if you see it dead on or maybe with less lighting,
it makes the arm
better.
look really awkward too because it doesn't have foil, and so it's just
oh look, this is arm the card.
It's it's photoshopped on. So that's a small micro controversy, nothing super duper major. But anywho, yeah, that's all that's going on in the TCG.
I want to talk about Rush Duels.
Okay, tell me about Rush Duels.
Because this is only important for me and a handful of other people in the community. But we got gadgets in Rush Duels.
I saw somebody talking about this on Twitter, and they were sort of like, "Oh my god, like gadgets and Rush Duel sounds crazy," because if they're like searching each other when they normal summon, and obviously Rush Duel's got like
Unlimited normal summons, but it's not so simple.
Okay, so what do they do?
So they actually changed the way gadgets work entirely.
Okay.
Instead of searching a particular gadget from hand when you summon, like let's say yellow gadget, you instead add that color gadget from your grave to your hand.
Ah, so they're recycling instead. So that means that you have to, first of all, get a gadget engraved to begin with.
Yep.
And then they just kind of become a recycling engine, which obviously can't be like as infinite feel. Like, it takes more setup.
It will be very difficult because I think they also have, they also say you cannot use, basically have heart once per turn.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
So essentially what you have with the gadgets now are 6, if you can open correctly in your deck, you can summon 6 gadgets in a turn. Yeah. Now you'll have to do like a tribute summon play or something to get the initial batch of gadgets. Actually, you're going to need tributes in general to get your gadgets engraved. So it's going to be a very...
It seems like it'll be balanced then.
It will be a very balanced archetype, but that's not all they got.
Okay.
They also got a maximum summon. You might remember maximum summons are when you have 3 monster cards that combine into 1. Mm-hmm. And so we have the what we're going to call this thing. Maximum gadget, the moving fortress, is essentially stronghold.
Yeah.
Each of its pieces is also a named gadget. So its left part is yellow gadget, its middle part is green gadget, and its right part is red gadget. And they come together to make a giant monster who has a stupid amount of attack, and I believe he says your opponent can't even activate. Yeah, it says cards on your field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's effects, so it's actually a fairly good maximum monster. But more importantly than how good these cards are, I'm so glad to have new artwork of gadgets.
Yeah, did they go with like kind of the same look for them, or is it...
Have a look. It's so the first set are upgraded versions of the original artwork.
Yeah, for sure.
The maximum versions, you're essentially seeing them in new like poses, which I didn't know I needed, but I did. Then we have a Chimera Tech monster. We're skipping that. Then we have like a boot up spell showing our gadgets in Stronghold, and another was a boot up trap.
Boot up order gear force. Okay.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
That's cool. So it's sort of based off of those boot up cards that they got in Fist of the Gadgets.
Yeah, they're really, really bad.
Yeah, and the TCG not so good. And Rush Duel though, probably pretty solid.
It depends on what the top end for the deck is. I mean, they show a Chimera Tech monster, or not Chimera Tech, Gadgeltron monster.
Yeah.
Just so you can combine it with Ancient Gears, and we know Ancient Gears are already in the game. And
it's so crazy that Ancient Gears were sort of early on meant to sort of work with gadgets. Like I remember Gadgeltron Dragon, it got effects if you like tributed each gadget. No one ever did it, but
and the same is true for this gadget. This is Ancient Gear Gadgeltron Amphisbaena or Amphisbaena. I never knew what an Amphisbaena is, but Yu-Gi-Oh has made like 2 of them.
There's like at least 2 Amphisbaena monsters.
But their whole thing was you have to tribute particular gadgets. This guy gets its effects as long as you just have those gadgets in your grave. So it's better than having them having to tribute them specifically.
Okay, so this is physical Rush Duel.
This is physical Rush Duel. So it matters to me because I'm going to order these cards. I'm going to get them imported.
Yeah, Alec imports his physical Rush Duel stuff.
I do. I got the Elemental Hero cards not long ago, but this will be coming to Duel Links at some point.
At some point, yeah.
Gear Golem was added to Duel Links early.
So maybe that implies that they will be kind of accelerating that release window for... Oh, God.
I just dropped my tablet for no reason.
Yeah, but maybe that implies they'll be accelerating the release window for cards in Rush Duel.
Fingers crossed. There's really no way to know. There's no strict schedule they're adhering to. There are definitely cards that are supposed to come out before these gadgets should get to the game, but they break rules all the time.
All right, yeah. Well, there's also some Master Duel news. It's not really news, but Tenpai are now in the game. I mentioned this last week. The update was kind of happening as we were recording.
How's that make you feel?
So here's the thing. People were like really concerned about these Tenpai dragons being in the game. It's like I've seen complaints on Reddit and everywhere else about like it's an annoying deck to face. It OTKs you. It kind of tries to just break your board and kill you fast. Mm-hmm. In my experience with it so far, though, it hasn't been too bad.
You're 4-0 against it, aren't you?
Actually, my first day of playing Master Duel after the update, because I was like traveling that weekend, when I finally got back, I was like, okay, cool. I can like hop on and see what this is all about. I've been playing Voiceless Voice against it. And I did not lose for a while against these Tenpai Dragon
Didn't
decks.
drop a game.
I mean, eventually that changed, obviously, but my record against them has been fine. I don't find it to be a deck that is any more unfair than other things that exist in the game right now. I mean, like, it's interesting because now, like, people will actually make you go first more. Like, if they're playing Tenpai Dragons, they win the coin flip, they'll still let you go first. But, I don't know. I don't have much more to say about it than what I would tell people if you feel kind of hopeless about, like, Tenpai is going to ruin Master Duel. I don't think so far. I don't think it's been so bad. I think that they will, if they feel like it's getting oppressive, they'll probably hit it a little bit on the ban list, perhaps. But right now, I think that there are a lot of decks that can stand up to it just fine and resist the OTK setups and stuff.
So
and also,
Voiceless Voice have a good matchup in the Tenpai?
It sounds actually like I think it's like at least even. I think that I'm usually able to put up enough like resilience and defense. I can resist cards like Raigeki. I can use the Saravis Dragon to negate their synchro summons even in the battle phase, and I can just layer my interactions and interruptions well enough that like I have not found it to be any worse than facing like Bell or Snake Eye.
This is why I hate Yu-Gi-Oh now. That word, layered interactions. Y'all just made the game so much more difficult. Like the skill,
you gotta
it feels like
give
the
it a
skill
try.
level for the game is just higher than it used to be. I remember when all I had to do was just 3 negates and your turn was over.
I like that at least in the TCG they're moving away from the Omni negates. I really hope that Master Duel kind of does eventually too, because Barone and Borreload Savage and Apollosa are all still legal in that. And I would like that to maybe be different, but for now, I can live with it. I would love to hear other people's experience with Tenpai though in Master Duel. It also released Ritual Beast support, and Goblin Bikers came to Master Duel, which I'm building Goblin Bikers. I'm just for fun. I'm just going to see what it's about.
What are you hoping to get out of the deck?
I honestly don't know. I'm not even that interested in it, but whenever I've been sitting on gems in the game. Like, I play that game so much. I don't spend money on the premium currency. I play, I max my...
Flex on them.
Well, I max my, Duelist Pass, and I get all, I'm always ranking up. And so I have so many gems and, like, UR material and stuff. And so while I've got, like, people who are always, like, crying, like, oh, my God, like, this new Archetype has so many URs, I can't get it. And I'm just like, bro, I have... Like, literally, once you cap to, like, 10,000 gems, they start putting your new gem rewards in gift boxes. And the gift boxes expire after like 30 days or something.
So you have to find a reason to
So you
use
have
your
to like buy something at some point because I don't want you to.
So just build Tenpai.
I don't want to.
I heard like half the deck is ultra rare. Or
it's kind of high rarity, yeah. But I'm trying out Goblin Bikers. I will report back with my findings.
You have to let us know specifically what the Pearly matchup is like. Because I remember when Goblin Bikers were first announced, everyone's like, this is the Pearly killer. But Pearly kind of got killed before Goblin Bikers showed up. So
yeah.
I thought it never reached their potential in the TCG.
Yeah, Pearly got hit really fast and by the time like Goblin Bikers came out, Pearly wasn't a relevant enough thing to. But anyways, that's pretty much the Yu-Gi-Oh news. One last thing though. You might notice we've got some cool shirts on today.
Oh, we do?
Yes. Alex got the Hypland Toon World, your Toon Summon Skull.
Oh, yeah, I'm over here.
Yeah, and I've got the Pot of Greed. You can't see it here, but if I pull it up, you can see where it says draw 2 cards, kind of in this script.
Mine has a big picture on the back, but I'm not turning around, so.
Yeah, I always hate when they put like the cool pictures on the back of the...
I don't know. You know what? Maybe for the thumbnail picture, I'll just turn the shirt around so they can see it.
Yeah, you should have just worn the shirt backwards.
You know what? I could have done that. I could have done that.
Either way, yeah, these come to us from Hypland. They didn't actually send them to us or anything. I just bought them because I thought that they were really cool.
We're just like you. Regular people.
Regular, normal people buying expensive shirts.
But I will say it's cool that it feels like Hypland's able to take more liberties with the designs now.
Yes, that's true. I remember their first wave of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff was like very strictly just promotional images of like characters and monsters, whereas this is clearly a more like inventive design and
I think originally they were literally not allowed to make any alterations to those characters and monsters. Now they're able to just do some stylization on them.
I think they've proven themselves trustworthy with the Yu-Gi-Oh license, and so maybe now they're allowed to get more approved. So these are cool. You can check out Hypland and buy them, or not. They're probably all sold out for all I know. But either way, yeah, I just thought that would be kind of neat. That's all the Yu-Gi-Oh! What else do we have in the world of card gaming?
In the world of cards.
I've seen a few like things about this is like a random quick announcement. It's not even really a story. I saw that Union Arena is adding Sword Art Online.
That makes sense. That just makes perfect sense. Sword Art Online is one of Bandai's kind of bigger anime.
Yeah.
And, if you own the license to Sword Art Online, you better be using it.
Yeah, I mean, and Union Arena is its whole sales pitch really is just that it's like different anime. So even if you don't like the current selection of what's on offer, you just wait until your favorite anime gets added in.
And then I guess the idea is if you hear your favorite anime is coming, then maybe you start picking up the cards for one of your second favorite anime. They didn't make you want to play Union Arena, but now that you are definitely in for Sword Art, you're like, well, let me get these Hunter x Hunter cards now. I like Hunter x Hunter fine. I have not given into Union Arena yet. Just want to make this clear.
So you haven't tried it out?
I have. Oh, okay. I did a demo.
Yeah, I mean,
but I have not spent any money towards Union Arena yet.
Right.
They haven't tricked me in yet.
Maybe it'll be at New York Comic Con, which that's actually an announcement.
Oh yeah.
New York Comic Con is this weekend.
NYCC.
Yeah, and after much deliberation, we're happy to say
your boys is going.
We will be there. You can probably spot us at least on Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. Going to probably be at the Yu-Gi-Oh booth and the Bandai booth and around.
Yep.
Maybe filming some videos. So come say hi if you're going to be there. Anyways,
that's another thing. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh or Konami will be at
there's
New
an
York
official
Comic-Con
Yu-Gi-Oh
this
booth.
year.
I think they're going to have like a sales kind of demo booth thing and then also like an organized play area. So that should be cool.
Gotta make sure I bring some cards.
Yeah, I actually do bring some decks. I'm sure fans will want to play.
I'm only playing the Shining Sarcophagus deck. I'm not playing anything better. Don't ask me to.
That would be, if you're going to a Yu-Gi-Oh event, it's probably the deck to play.
That's all I'm bringing.
Anyways, back to the card game news. Sorry.
Yes.
Kind of got you off track.
So it is another week, which means another game store was broken into specifically for Pokemon cards. But there was a twist to this story.
It is another week, huh?
Pokemon card thieves steal $40,000, but they're thwarted by game store staff who wouldn't stop talking.
Wouldn't stop talking?
They wouldn't stop talking.
Okay, tell me about this. I must know.
So, over the years, we've seen criminals go all the way to rob valuable Pokemon cards. But while many of these incidents were quick to spread via news and word of mouth, not all of the thieves ended up being caught by the police. But that's not what happened here.
Okay.
So as reported by CTV News on September 18th, 2024, 300 cards were stolen from Enter the Battlefield shop. The security footage captured one individual who had managed to break into the shop by smashing and kicking in the front door, just a regular breaking and entering. And then he went behind the cash register, putting trading cards worth around $150,000 into his backpack.
Jesus. How do you even grab that much?
He got moving.
If it's sealed product, you can't fit that in a backpack.
Boy,
so it must have been single cards that were just worth thousands a piece or something.
He must have known what he was coming for. The owner says, we came in and saw that showcases for the Magic the Gathering and Pokemon singles were ravaged and our cards were taken. But in a surprising turn of events, the owner of another card shop received a message informing him that they'd been arrested. Or no, this owner got a message that the criminals had been arrested.
Okay.
It all started on October 1st when two men came into the OMG game store, which is a separate store, and offered to trade cards in for a large amount. One keen-eyed employee quickly noticed that these cards matched the ones that were missing. Without the suspects knowing, the store had carefully informed the police station about the situation, and as the police made their way to the location, they stalled the criminals by just yapping.
Okay.
So they stalled them for 30 to 40 minutes talking about fake cards, asking about the additions of these cards. They just kind of shot the breeze.
So let me get this straight. These guys went to one card shop and robbed it.
Yes.
Took a bunch of stuff. Then they went to another card shop.
In the same sound.
And tried to sell the cards or something like that. the other card shop had heard about the theft.
Yep.
And so they kept them busy by like just kind of yapping.
And in about 30 minutes, the cop showed up and just arrested them. And so they actually got all the cards that the thieves had on them back. So that saved them some money. And then the thieves were charged with like burglary and theft over $5,000. The sad part is, I guess they didn't get all the cards back. I don't know if they already moved some of the cards. They found some way of parting with them ahead of time.
Getting them some other party. But still, I mean, good thing that they were able to get caught like swiftly. Because I know that with these robberies, like as the days pass, it gets like tougher to, kind of track down everything.
It gets hard to prove a stolen card if it's changed hands even one
once
time.
It's moved around, it gets tougher. So at least they were able to get most of it back.
Mm-hmm. And just a reminder to people, stop stealing cards.
And you stop reporting on it. No, I'm just kidding. It's fun.
I would hope that if I keep reporting on it, everyone will just know that, hey, I probably shouldn't be stealing Pokemon cards. Yeah. People keep getting caught.
You don't want to end up on the Pot of Greed podcast for stealing cards. That'll be there.
We got to start having a wall of shame. We have to have the pictures of like card thieves.
Yes, every episode there's more on the wall. No, that's funny. I mean, it's another week, another Pokemon theft.
I actually think I could pull it off very well. I think I have the gift of the gab, you might say. I think I could stall 2 thieves for like 30 plus minutes.
Chat them up. And
I think I could do it. You know what I would do? You know what my tactic would be? If there were Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I'd just talk about lore.
Yeah, just talk about lore. I feel like, honestly, you could get away just talking about combos.
I mean, but I can't talk about combos.
Yeah, somebody can.
I can't do
Someone's like, well, actually, if you do this line, it gets you more damage.
Like if somebody stole like an ultimate rare like Diabellstar, they are done. They are so cooked.
Yeah, it's just yaps about Diabellstar lore instead.
And don't let me see an Avramax or something. That's a wrap.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone.
Go ahead and go ahead and arrest yourself because I'm going to talk while you're incarcerated about Avram's lore.
Cool. Any other TCG things?
Just a general announcement that 4 of the RCQ events for Magic the Gathering, that's their regional championship qualifiers, 3 of those 4 are actually going to be standard format.
Now, standard format, obviously I know about Commander. That's the thing everybody knows about. What is standard exactly? I have heard you talk about it before.
Standard is, or at least should be, the premier rotating format for Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
That's the format where you take the newest cards, you make a deck with their ban list, and you play.
Those are the 60 card decks, right?
I believe they're 60 card. I want to say they are 60 card. But like basically, this will be the equivalent to our advanced format in Yu-Gi-Oh. This is the way you're kind of supposed to be playing
competitive Magic.
But
so then why
it fell off something horrible?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So basically, it fell off, and it's because it seems like it's a big deal that it's coming back at these upcoming events.
Because whenever I wanted to play Standard, because I played some Commander, but I didn't like lugging around 100 card decks all the time. So I talked about people playing Standard, and they're like, I just don't do that. No one plays that. If you want to play that, play Arena. I was like, I don't want to download an app to play. I want to play in real life. Well, now there's a real reason to, since, 3 of the 4 regionals are going to be standard format, which means there's real prizing for playing with the cards they want you to play with.
Are these regionals the same thing we were talking about like some months back, like Magic's little circuit, like their competitive circuit that they're restarting? Is that... What does it say that these are called?
RCQs. That's their regional championship qualifiers.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that's part of the same circuit. Look, guys, we're still babies to this.
I don't know.
We
enough
barely
about
understand
to really say.
But I bring it up because I've been interested in Standard for so long.
So this might actually be an excuse to.
If I can find people to play Standard with, I will do it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool. I mean, I've always heard mixed things about like if Commander's really the best Magic format. It's the one that you hear the most about, and everyone's like, oh, like start with Commander, and like it's fun and it's social. But as I've heard more and more, just from playing a bit myself, and also just doing this podcast and reading people's comments on it, it actually does feel like there's a large subset of Magic players who kind of feel like Commander is fine, but not actually the best entryway into the game, nor even the most strategically kind of fulfilling way to play.
Yeah. I find myself in this weird place when it comes to Magic and Commander. Commander is a very fun format when you want to just kick it with the boys or with your group of friends. You want to maybe chat, maybe have drinks. It can be a very good, relaxing format. But sometimes I really want to really get into it. Mm-hmm. But getting into Commander usually means kind of playing harder than everyone else around you, or running cards that might offend the people around you.
Yeah, it's kind of that age-old thing where competition and casual play are always kind of at odds, mm-hmm. and it's just tough to. You got to know your play group. Are the people that you're with down for this or not?
And so I like the idea of playing Standard, where the idea is, we're here to compete. It's about to be sweaty. We're running optimized decks. There's no hurt feelings. We're all playing to win. We're cutthroat. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of the good old days of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, toss format.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, let me change this mic so I can.
Is yours also having issues?
Yeah, I'm just leaning down. I'm going to do what you have so that I can. Okay.
Because mine was just slink. Watch your this thing. Because mine kind of started going.
Yeah, mine was also doing that, but I think this will help it out.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've got one last quick card game thing. This is about the Gundam TCG.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it before. They have formally announced that there's going to be a Gundam TCG. Well, there's the Gundam card game edition beta, which is you actually probably know more about what this is than I do. I just saw the headline. I guess it's sort of an early access demo set or some early cards or whatever.
The best way to think about it is a demo sneak peek of the game. This is not even technically the first official release. The official release will be in some months.
Oh, okay. So I have it pulled up, and it's $69.99, and
which is expensive.
Yeah, it's kind of high, and you get these exclusive booster packs. So you get 16 booster packs with 9 cards per pack. You get a set of exclusive cards. There's 56 cards. It's got units, pilots, and base cards. A legend rare card. So you get one of those. There's 3 different ones you can get. Mm-hmm. You get some dice damage counters. These look kind of. These might be metal dice. They
look nice. The really dice look, unless those are just unpainted versions of them.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool exclusive early thing, but from what I've seen, this has sold out within seconds. And It's been available twice. Yeah, it's been available twice. I saw somebody on Reddit who said literally second wave of the Gundam TCG sold out in under 10 seconds. I was able to click add to cart, and by the time I got to the cart or to the checkout screen, it was sold out.
Yep.
And I've also heard that people are scalping these.
Oh, something horrible. The scalpers picked up on what's going on, and they got their bots ready, and they ate up 99% of the stock. I've seen 2 people post on social media that they actually got the things, and the fact that I've heard nothing else means the bots got the rest.
It sounds like it's not even delivering yet. You don't get it until February 2025.
No, but that's the premium Bandai way.
So I didn't know that. So you pre-order this, you're going to get it next year. And so I guess what the scalpers are selling is they got it, or they got their pre-order in, and now they're just offering to ship it to you when they get it in the February.
But you're going to pay triple.
But you're going to pay $1 billion. Well, that sucks. I hope that if they're going to do maybe a third wave of this, I assume, since they've done 2 waves of release, make a queue or some lottery thing. And so it's not just literally get your bot and click within 0.2 seconds.
People have been saying this about Premium Bandai for so long because they do exclusive figures, different types of merchandise for different Bandai-owned properties. And whenever it's something that's in high demand, bots show up and it's gone in seconds. It's Thanos snapped, gone.
That sucks.
I don't think Premium Bandai is going to change, but I do want to tell people that don't stress about this product specifically.
Yeah.
My understanding is that this is not as exclusive of a release as you think it is.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So the beta project or the beta product will be at physical Bandai events. Think the Game Fest, and they're gonna have a launch event for Gundam.
Yeah.
The game stores will be able to apply to run beta events.
Oh, so they'll probably get this product as well. Okay.
That I'm guessing that. I don't know for a fact, but I'm fairly certain they're gonna get the beta project because I saw that the sign up fee for the shop beta events was $70. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Similar. And I guess that's sort of similar to how like past Bandai games have launched. Like I know One Piece was sort of similar. There were like early demo sets and stuff that were scalped.
What's it called? The super pre-release decks.
Super pre-release decks. Yeah. So I assume that it'll eventually be available to everybody. So there's no need to like
these
kick over an old lady for it.
They're going to get reprinted, right? I think if nothing else, Bandai has learned their lesson about promo cards being stupid exclusive. All these cards are going to get reprinted. Don't stress. And don't buy from a scalper.
Yeah, definitely don't buy the scalped prices. Sounds to me like Gundam, at least it's off to a exciting start. Like there's anticipation there.
But it reminds me of the One Piece start, that was like the worst part of One Piece TCG. Real players, real people wanted One Piece cards and couldn't get them because scalpers were botting and then flipping all the product online.
Yeah, well, good luck to you guys. Don't, like you said, don't freak out too much about getting these. I think that you will have other opportunities, and hopefully, Bandai themselves can figure thing out. Speaking of Bandai, any other card game stories?
No.
No? Okay, so speaking of Bandai then, have you heard that Bandai has been cutting its workforce and canceling titles?
How could I not? Everyone's been crying about their favorite games getting cut, but I don't know if we know what games were cut.
Yeah, so this was kind of a big story this week. Bandai Namco is allegedly cutting its workforce following the underperformance of several recent titles, and decisions to cancel or pause development on a range of upcoming titles, including a supposed Naruto and One Piece game, like Naruto game and a One Piece game, and an unknown title that was commissioned by Nintendo. So that could be any number of things. I know Nintendo works with companies like this all the time, but per reporting from Bloomberg, the company is not outright laying off staff, but sources have alleged that it's encouraging staff to resign by sending them to Oidashi Beya, or Oidashi Beya. That's a Japanese term, but expulsion rooms, where because I think there are laws around like outright laying people off, at least in Japan. So they send you to a room where you have no work tasks and nothing to do.
They just they freeze you out until you just stop showing up.
Yeah, and eventually you just sort of stop showing up. Which is interesting because I feel like if that was to happen in the United States, some people would jump at the opportunity.
Kick it, boy.
Great, I get to go to work and
put me in an empty room.
Get an empty room, sit on my phone or something. No, but I think culturally it's seen as a shame to not kind of have duties and not work, and so you eventually leave. It's alleged that around 100 staff have resigned already, and there are more expected to leave in the future. Bloomberg notes that the Oidashi Beya technique is common in Japan, as the country has strict labor protection laws that prevent widespread layoffs. Now, also, Bandai Namco has refuted these allegations in a statement to Bloomberg. They claim that there's no such practice in place and that it is not pressuring staff to leave.
Well, they kind of have to say that, right? Because if they're pressuring their employees to leave through this technique, it's likely not a legal technique, so they have to say they're not doing it if they are.
Now they say, our decisions to discontinue games are based on comprehensive assessments of the situation. Some employees may need to wait a certain amount of time before they're assigned to their next project, but we do move forward with assignments as new projects emerge. So the idea is they don't have nearly as many new projects coming, so a bunch of staff are just sitting there with nothing to do. It's like, I guess you could resign. I don't know, Yeah, I don't know exactly. So I don't follow like Bandai Namco's video game releases very much. I know that like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero just came out, and that sold huge numbers. It's been very popular.
The thing I saw, it said 3 million in 24 hours.
Yeah, but then conversely, they say that game Blue Protocol, which we did cover on the pod, I remember briefly, was announced for shutdown in late August 2024, and its Western release was canceled entirely. Other mobile games were shuttered, and plans for upcoming games were reportedly altered. So
they still have there's a Bleach game coming out under Bandai Namco that at least it seemed to have like hype around it. I feel like Sparking Zero kind of blew it out the water.
I mean, I think like Sparking Zero, obviously it's like a kind of cultural phenomenon type of game. I think it was only going to do even better now that there's kind of just been a Dragon Ball resurgence with,
Yeah, Dragon Ball Daima.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Daima is happening. And so, that was always going to do well. I think anime games in general, though, kind of are more mixed. Like, when you see those games like that one Demon Slayer game that came out and was kind of, you don't hear anyone talk about it.
Yeah.
People really hated that Jujutsu Kaisen game on like PS4 and PS5.
That one was a waste of the IP. I'm sorry. That one was not.
Yeah, I didn't play that myself, but I heard that was not super well received.
If the concept is curse users fighting curses, why is it an arena fighter where the curse users are fighting each other?
They always seem to be. I mean, them fighting each other isn't so strange for an anime game, but it feels like they're always arena fighters with these anime games. Not that the genre is bad, but I do sometimes think like, could we maybe do other things?
But I mean, 90% of the game should be them fighting curses, though, right? Like, they should only have to fight each other sometimes.
That sounds like what you would maybe get in more of like a single-player adventure type of experience, with like a campaign or a story. Whereas if they're just making an arena fighter, then they know that players don't want to play as generic Curse 736. They want to be Gojo and Sukuna and stuff. So, I remember also Jump Force recently that got like canceled entirely. That's like taken off the store.
Down, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like you can't even like download it new like online.
It's weird. I feel like there was a lot of hate for Jump Force when it first came out. But now whenever I see anything about Jump Force, it feels like people now look at it more through like nostalgia tinted glasses.
Yeah, people kind of pine for that stuff back once it's gone.
Like,
so
Jump Force had Yugi and Kaiba.
I know, and they summoned God cards and like Blue Eyes and Dark Magician. That was awesome. I think that the only real problem with Jump Force for people, well, I mean, there were probably many problems, but one of the only things that I think made it rough for me was just like getting a cohesive visual look.
Yeah,
was sort of.
I mean, it's
awkward.
kind of impossible with that style of game.
Yeah,
because I've played some of the older like Jump titles, and they're always kind of wacky. They're not really supposed to be taken seriously.
Right. Yeah. So unfortunate for Bandai Namco, but at least they've had some success with some games. So, any other gaming news?
Gaming specifically, yes.
Okay.
So this one does tie into AI.
Oh, joy.
AI in games might have just proven itself useful for a change, Activision claims. Call of Duty's seen a 43% drop in disruptive voice chat since the start of the year, thanks to their Robo-Snitch.
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 So it's like listening to your voice chats and will, I guess, cut out offensive words or maybe issue you warnings. Like it's doing AI moderation.
Essentially, it's AI moderation. So that they don't have to... Because their moderation is virtually non-existent. We've all been in a Call of Duty lobby before.
Right, yeah. You have to report people and hope that something happens.
So allegedly, they've been using this chat enforcement since June 2024, which that doesn't seem... when did I last play Call of Duty? When did I talk about playing Call of the Gundam DLC?
That was like in June.
Was that in June? Because I heard some things on voice chat that I can't come back from. So I don't know if they had the AI in at that point.
Maybe not then, but maybe this is when they started it.
But the quote says, since rolling out an improved voice chat enforcement in June 2024, Activision claims Call of Duty has seen a combined 67 reduction in repeat offenders of voice chat-based offenses in Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Warzone. In July 2024, 80% of players that were issued a voice chat enforcement since launch did not re-offend. Exposure to disruptive voice chat continues to fall, dropping by 43% since January.
So they do send you like a thing that says, okay, like we caught you, stop cussing and throwing out slurs. Okay, cool.
Boy, did they throw out slurs. Or at least they did. I don't know if they're still doing it.
Yeah, maybe there's 67% less of them are doing it or whatever that number was.
They were wilding.
That's good, though, actually. Like, that's one of the better uses of AI. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that we kind of tend to come across as hyper anti-AI in here, and I generally am. But I think that this is one of the... Like, there's an interesting use for it. Like, I think this can be helpful because, like, there's no way that you can kind of have a person like moderating voice chat live, like having human resources like allocated.
Well, you could, it just wouldn't be feasible.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like feasible use of talent, and so I think having AI like do that is good. Plus, this actually brings me back to I remember like an article came out some years back with horror stories from people who worked as Facebook moderators.
Oh God!
And how like having to remove obscene content from Facebook and how they had to see just the worst of the worst consistently. I mean, we're just talking any sexually inappropriate, violent, gore, like whatever.
I do remember there was a point in Facebook's history where people kept uploading essentially snuff videos.
Yeah, there's so many awful, just truly awful things, and like they do a good job because rarely will it actually like reach our eyes. Like usually that stuff has to get taken down really quickly. But I just remember people kind of coming out and saying like anonymously or whatever, like I worked as a moderator for Facebook, taking down content, and it scars you. Now, is a Call of Duty lobby gonna be that bad? No, but still you're gonna have to hear
I don't know, man. I once played a match where the players were named Diddy victims 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So pretty bad. at least like it's just jokes. Well, they would claim it's just
depends
jokes.
on how you look at it.
Things get kind of offensive, so never mind. But yeah, I mean, I think the point is, if you can offload that sort of a task to AI, I think that's a pretty good use of it.
I mean,
and so a person doesn't have to deal with that.
I hate to shoot AI some bail, but that does seem like a good use of the technology.
All right, my next story is GameStop announces collaboration with PSA. So this is sort of back to card games a little bit. You might remember that GameStop this is like several months back, they were going to be like taking graded cards in, like they would buy your graded cards and like resell them and stuff. Well, now they've actually partnered with PSAs. So they announced today in a press release, today being like October 15th. PSA offers the world's largest and most trusted trading card and autograph authentication and grading services. As part of this collaboration, GameStop will become an authorized PSA dealer, and PSA will provide authentication and grading services for trading cards through select GameStop stores across the United States. You can go to their site to find a store locator and a summary of the process. So yeah, basically, instead of having to go to like the PSA website and kind of deal with what might be a daunting and confusing process, you can bring your trading cards to your local GameStop.
And then they will do the daunting and confusing process.
Yes, and they will send them in for grading. I had a few questions about this when I first read it, and a few concerns. When you hear that, what do you think? So, like, what comes to mind?
Okay. My knee jerk is some slight against GameStop, but I know we have GameStop employees and fan bases in this community, so I'm not going to go as hard as I normally do with my anti-GameStop rhetoric. But it does not sound, at least to me, this doesn't sound like much better, because the issue with grading your cards isn't the fact that you have to go to PSA to do it. It's the cost associated with it, and GameStop is not known for a place that saves you money.
Yeah, so two things came to mind for me. I was wondering how much it costs. Now, I don't grade cards very often. I've never actually, I don't think, graded a card with PSA, so I don't even know what the price is. Somebody can inform me of that in the chat. But I watched a Leonhardt video where he took some Pokemon cards to be graded. He even brought in one fake card as well as like part of his sort of test.
Promotional video. Did you see the promotional video tag underneath it? They paid for it?
No, they didn't pay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess he probably wouldn't have brought a fake card if that was the case. It's $15.99 to send in, like, per card, to send in to get graded. Now, I don't know if that's cheaper.
I thought it was more expensive than that.
This might be cheaper because you're doing it through GameStop. Maybe that's part of the promotion.
Okay.
Like, I'm hedging all this with saying, like, I don't grade cards often. So if you do and you're in on that business, please feel free to chime in and inform me in the comments, correct me about what the normal price of this is. But yeah, you take your cards and they sort of inspect them a bit, and then they just will send them in, and then like they get returned to you. I think if you're a GameStop Pro member, you can get some sort of a discount on like the return shipping cost. Mm-hmm. And there is also like a limit to the amount of value that you can submit at a time, I believe. Like it might be like nothing more than like a $200 card or something like that.
I think it's a liability issue that GameStop probably doesn't want to fall into. If they're handling like let's say a $500 card and it gets rated as damaged, someone might argue, well, that was GameStop's fault. They mishandled my card and damaged it. GameStop probably doesn't want to deal with that.
That's the thing, yeah. How much, oh, there's our main camera.
Main camera is gone.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, okay, how much do you trust sort of a just regular GameStop employee to like treat your cards well? Because like you're just kind of leaving it with
negative
them, and then they're gonna like send it off and kind of like at the end of the day, okay, we've gathered a bunch of different cards from a bunch of different people. and it's just like a regular guy who works at GameStop and doesn't work in the grading business.
I have a negative 20 in trust.
Yeah, so it's like, are they going to mix the cards up, accidentally damage them, lose them outright, steal them? Like, that's certainly some of the things that come to mind for me. So,
yeah, I did look up the prices that PSA has listed on their website for just grading through them, not GameStop. Mm-hmm. And seemingly the only way to get that $14.99 price through PSA is to be a part of their collectors club.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's $25 per card.
Okay.
So if you can get it 15 through GameStop,
yeah,
that's sounds like a good deal to me.
I'm interested in seeing where this goes. One of our video editors, Dose, they have a bit of a history with like grading cards, so they're usually the one who they'll tell me about, news like this. Usually Pokemon, although I did find out through the Leon Hart video, they say they will take any cards, like any types of trading cards that PSA grades.
Ooh, we going to GameStop?
I mean, if there's something nearby that does it, I would like to try it out. Maybe I'll grade like 2 or 3 cards and see what the process is like and report back. It is more expensive if you do sports cards, I believe, though. Like at least some specific type of sports cards, it's like $19.99 instead of $15.99.
I have no idea why.
Don't know what that's about. Maybe they just have more perceived value. Maybe the process is more rigorous to like.
I know nothing about sports cards.
I really
Absolutely
don't.
nothing.
That's always my like. It's funny when I tell my parents like what I do for work and stuff. They're always like, oh, like so do you like collect like sports cards and stuff? Because everyone like at least older people know about like sports cards.
That's true.
And I'm always sort of ashamed to tell them, I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything about sports cards. I don't collect them. I never liked them as a kid because like you couldn't play with them. You just got them.
I was so mad when I got a pack of baseball cards and I couldn't figure out how to play baseball
like,
with
how do
them.
You play it?
I was like, how do you do this?
No, it's got a guy and some information about him on it. That's it. So
it's like I don't even know Ken Griffey. Throw this away.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that there's nothing against people who play that. Like I say, who collect sports cards. Like I think it's probably cool to collect and stuff, and having a rare collection, having some of them signed, having them PSA graded 10 or something. That's probably a big deal. But I just like card games I can play.
Actually, I wonder if I still have it somewhere in my old like bedroom. I had one sports card that I got from some carnival as a kid. You know how cars get graded or put in a plaque, and they'll put it onto a little stand and make it look like it's nice. Yeah, and a kid plays the little game where you throw a ball in a cup and you win, and you get. I think I got a Ken Griffey Jr. card in a little plaque.
Okay,
and I'm fairly certain it's worth absolutely nothing.
Or it might be worth a lot. I mean, who's to say?
I mean.
Either way,
I'll dig it up for the pod.
Yeah, dig it up, find it for the pod, then we take it to GameStop.
Oh.
And we submit it. Yes. Yeah, we've got it all figured out.
I have a sports card. Now I think about it.
You have one.
I have one.
Like an Alec Fields card.
There's an Alec Fields out there. When I played like Little League Baseball, I don't know why we had them, but we did like team pictures, and you could get like a trading card.
A card made interesting.
Now, I know that card exists somewhere. I gotta find it.
So I mean, you would have it, right?
I mean, or my parents.
Or okay.
Like, I don't just carry pick my.
So it's not something that's like in a pack of cards.
No, I don't have a booster pack. Rip it open, see my old teammates on there.
That'd be a little weird.
Oh, there's Nicholas. I remember him.
Because you'd be like 9 or something. On this trading card, that'd be a little odd. I don't know. Anyway, well, we will get to the bottom of this GameStop grading thing. I would like to see if I can find a GameStop that will take these cards.
Are you going to bring a fake card in to see?
Maybe I will.
To test them?
Yeah, I'll make a video on it.
Well, we should bring, what was it, Darkly Big Rabbi?
Surely they would be able to tell. Surely. Anywho, that's GameStop. You can get your cards graded through them. Maybe it'll make it more accessible for more people.
Here's hoping. Now, I still have one more gaming story, and it's one I'm very disappointed in.
Disappointed.
Yes. There was a Game Freak data leak.
I did see this, the big Pokemon leak everybody's been talking about. I've seen memes and jokes, but I have not actually delved too much into it.
Yeah,
let's see what happened.
We don't deal in like discussing leaks and analyzing leaks, but
we say, although we've definitely discussed and analyzed leaks on this podcast before.
I have not, sir.
I mean, I showed you that Switch 2 leak. That said, no, but
I didn't want to see it though.
To be clear, I those leaks are like kind of where I draw my line. I don't really care about like seeing what the model of the Switch 2 might or might not look like. But when it's like a specific like IP, I don't like seeing leaks because I don't want like future games spoiled for me and stuff like that. But everyone kind of draws that line differently. Anyway, carry on.
Game Freak, the primary developer of Pokemon games, has suffered a serious data breach. Employees' personal details have been published online, as well as a huge trove of documentation on Pokemon, including source code for complete builds of past games. I feel like people skipped the part where employees' personal details were just spread out online, and they're focusing on
like cool Pokemon tidbits.
In a statement, Game Freak said the leak was a result of unauthorized access to our servers by a third party. Yeah, that's kind of how leaks go.
I mean, I heard it was like a phishing thing. Like
someone clicked the link.
Yeah, some employee clicked the link and got like all the data. Just
And it has apologized for the release of over 2,600 items of personal data. That sounds like a lot of personal data. It said the breach took place in August 2024 and that the affected server has already been rebuilt. Information obtained from the leak files began to appear widely on Saturday and Sunday, and Game Freak's statement surfaced online on Sunday. However, the statement is dated Thursday, October 10th. The statement addresses the leak of employees' personal details, but does not mention the release of any confidential game data. Because I don't think they want to talk about whatever has people posting about Typhlosion. I doubt they want to talk about that.
Yeah, I saw the same article. So far, online communities poring over the leak claim to have unearthed vast amounts of information on past Pokemon games, including unreleased creature designs, game and feature prototypes, and complete game builds. There is less information on future projects out there beyond code names and a few basic details. Yeah, so I mean, I have friends who really like following these leaks. Some have shared stuff with me. Like I said, I mean, I've tried to kind of avoid it. This is maybe just is me being, I don't know. I have my own like idea of the Pokemon games in my head and like my memories and kind of just experiences with them. And I really don't actually care to know too much more about like canceled draft, write-ups about stuff.
A lot of people are treating these leaks as if this is like the uncovered history of Pokemon, as if this is the real lore of the games. But the thing is, the lore of the games is already known. It's in the games.
Yeah, this is cut content that like kind of it's on the cutting room floor. So it is fun and intriguing, I think, to read it just to get a look at how maybe game development takes place and like kind of writing and conceptualizing ideas and designs. So I'm not saying it's like bad to indulge in the leaks yourself. It's just not really something that I was particularly interested in doing. So
I do think it would be interesting if maybe Game Freak makes a push to add more, because I'll admit Pokemon games are kind of light on their like storytelling and world building. What if this pushes them to add more definitive lore in their games?
Be more upfront about
to go ahead and just like push all this to the dustbin. Like whatever you think the origin story of Pokemon is, that's not it. It's in this next upcoming game. Like what's the new one going to be called? A to Z?
Z to A.
Or Z to A?
Yeah, I saw there were like apparently some details about that game. I didn't really see what they were. I know that that's the one that's supposed to be coming out next year. So
I can't wait for it.
It's kind of interesting that like this leak happened because it seems to be happening at a time where Game Freak has been actually for the first time in ever really taking more time on a game, like not just cranking out a new Pokemon game every single year.
Because this is in the same vein as the Legends of Arceus game, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like in that line. And
I think that explains why they're taking their time then, because Legends of Arceus did so well.
It did well, but some people, still felt it was a bit rushed and light on like post-game content and stuff to do. And so this seems like the goal is to polish it even more and probably have more
light on post-game content. That's weird to me. Post-game content's always something that's strange because when I finish a game, I turn it off and I play a new game.
Well, not everybody does, Alec.
It's okay to just turn it off. It doesn't have to have like 40 more hours of gameplay.
Yeah,
sometimes the
Pokemon games in general also come under fire for like performance issues. Cut content even from the main games. I remember Sword and Shield really pissed me off with that.
Sword and Shield was almost unforgivable with how choppy the storytelling was, or lack thereof.
Not a lot there. Scarlet and Violet had a lot more in terms of content.
Yeah.
But they just ran like piss.
It was.
They were not optimized well. Visual bugs, bad performance, frame rate chugged, freezes, and just it was.
But there was heart in there that I felt that Sword and Shield didn't have, or at least if Sword and Shield did have heart, they accidentally cut it out.
Yeah, they actually cut the heart out. I mean, that's actually true though. Like, I think that Sword and Shield were polished enough games with like they just didn't have enough time in the oven to actually get the content done, and then Scarlet and Violet were not particularly polished games, but they had a lot of content. So maybe the ideal world is that when Gen 10 happens, we get an actual finished game that, you know, runs well, looks well, has everything.
Now I have a question for you, Paul.
I might have an answer. What do you
think was the last like finished Pokemon game? In your opinion, doesn't have to be like a definitive thing.
Probably Gen 6.
Gen 6
or 7. I mean, the X and Y.
X and Y.
Also, like Sun and Moon, though, I think were also like fine.
I did enjoy. I did enjoy Sun and Moon. I didn't play the second ones.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Yeah, I played the first ones.
Yeah, Sun and Moon, like they felt finished games to me. But I think that Gen 8 was where at least I noticed. I was like, okay, these games are clearly not done. So.
To me, Sword and Shield felt like that game that I could put in front of someone who's never played Pokemon before, and they'll finish the game in like 20 minutes. Like, it just felt like anybody could pick up and just beat the mess out of that game really fast.
No, I think you were 100% right on that. It's so, you know, I feel bad for Game Freak. I know it's not popular to feel bad for the big evil game company.
We do hate all of them.
But still, like, leaks are not good. Like, I mean, you imagine you worked at this company and some of your personal data was in this leak. That still sucks. Like,
at least this is actually probably one of the better data leaks. People are more focused on like these like lore implications than like getting the phone number for like a Pokemon character designer,
some employee. Although, I mean, it could perhaps lead to some doxing or something in the future because, you know, people are so angry at these companies, and the anger tends to really hit a fever pitch and coalesce around the release of a new game or a Dexit announcement or whatever they call it.
What's Dexit?
The Pokédex thing where like they took all the they took some Pokemon out of Sword and Shield and they announced it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, you know, hopefully that none of that happens, but you know, just kind of a.
So guys, remember next time you're mad at Game Freak, remember bad things happen to them too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that's Pokemon. You know.
Yeah, that's Pokemon.
Awesome. Well, I've got another story as well. So, this is, let me see which one I actually want to go with. All right. Canceling subscriptions has to be as easy as signing up, FTC says in a new rule.
Let's go.
This is a very good one. You'll like this.
It's relevant to me.
Yeah, so federal regulators have finalized the click-to-cancel rule for memberships and subscriptions. Health clubs that demand membership cancellations by certified mail, which, God, I didn't know it was any place was actually doing that.
Yes.
Or in person. Cable subscriptions that require lengthy calls to customer service, where representatives aggressively dissuade you from cancellation. Yeah, federal regulators say they receive around 70 complaints a day from people about charges for subscriptions that are either arduous to cancel or the people didn't realize they accepted in the first place. Now, a new U.S. rule will require retailers, gyms, and other businesses to make canceling subscriptions as easy as enrolling in them and to make the subscription process more transparent. So the final rule is called click to cancel, which basically means that online subscriptions should require the same amount of clicks to end as they do to sign up. And in-person signups should have an option to cancel online or over the phone.
Agreed, 100%.
So, just a quick quote. Too often, businesses make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription. Lena Khan said in a statement on Wednesday, that's the NFTC chair, nobody should be stuck paying for a service that they no longer want. So, yeah.
This is a very personal story for me.
Is it? Let's hear about it.
Because back when I was in college, in the town that I was in, I got a gym membership at a Planet Fitness, which is like the vanilla gym that anybody can go to. But I will strongly suggest you don't do it. I got one because I want to keep working out. I didn't feel like going to the gym on campus, and I didn't think it was going to be a problem, so I got a subscription. I moved away. And then Planet Fitness would not let me cancel my subscription. No matter how many times I called, no matter how many emails I sent, they would not let me end it. In fact, once I stopped paying, they just started harassing me. They wouldn't end it. They would not end my account. They would just keep harassing me. And I'm like, you won't let me end the subscription, and I didn't pay, and now you keep harassing me.
So what is the method that they want you to use to do? Like, do you have to go?
They specifically say I have to go back to the gym that I made the subscription with, and that's where I can cancel it.
What a load of. Come on.
It makes no sense. You have Planet Fitness gyms all over the country. Why can't I just go to a different one?
Yeah, it's a chain. That should be an easy click online or a phone call.
My favorite part is, you know how I made the subscription? It was on the app.
Yeah, so you would think it definitely should be. If you can make it on the app, then you should be able to cancel it. On the
but
app.
They had to choose a home gym, so I chose the one that was near me, and they locked me into it. I had to tell my bank to put a stop to it and explain to the bank they're not letting me cancel this. Just stop paying them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just get them off my back.
That's crazy, honestly. I mean, I know I have some experience with places where when you try to cancel these subscriptions, you have to go through 2 or 3 phone calls, long waiting times, and then you end up on a person who sits there and tries to convince you to stay with them after you've waited, by the way, an hour on the phone, and then they're like, oh, are you sure you want to leave? And we'll offer you this thing. It's very shitty behavior, if we're being completely honest.
The Wall Street Journal.
Oh, yeah. This is a funny story, guys. We actually, Alec and I were in the same MBA program in graduate school. And for one of our classes, we actually had to get.
We educate. I don't know if y'all do that.
Oh yeah, people probably don't know this.
We made it sound like we're educated.
We might just be a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh players, but we could run a business if we wanted to. We had to get a Wall Street Journal subscription, and it was cheap. There's some student discount. It was $1.99 a month or something.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I think it went up after X amount of months or something.
But let's be clear, it was mandated that we get the subscription, as if it was like buying a textbook. We had to have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, which does not sound right when you think about it.
A little bit. Anyway, so what was your experience with it?
So we got it for the class. The class was horrible. I hated that class was terrible. It wasn't run well. I didn't even learn anything.
Like a marketing class, I think.
At the end of the semester, it's time for us to end our Wall Street Journal subscriptions, and they wouldn't let us end them easily.
Yeah, they just made it just jump through hoops, and
they put us on hold for 30 plus minutes, and the name of the game was just to slow us down,
get you tired enough to just
hang up.
Yeah,
they wouldn't if. They let us cancel those subscriptions, but it took the better part of an hour, and I don't understand how it can take that long to cancel a subscription to a digital newspaper.
They really did not want people canceling those, and I guess these journalism sites are trying their best to stay alive, but you cannot take my money for that long.
No, that's not the way.
Yeah, it is not. So this is a good bill. It kind of comes on the tails of that one California bill where digital storefronts have to say that you're getting a license for products you do not own what you're buying. At least making that clear and upfront so that people don't, just think that I bought this $60 game online. That means I can in some way give it to a friend or do something with it. And yeah, they don't want you doing that. So while it, doesn't change the fact that you don't own your digital right, or you don't have rights to the digital things you buy, it's a step forward. This is an even better step forward though, because this is canceling annoying things that are sapping your money month to month, and you forget about it, or you try to cancel it.
Oh yeah, and they had me on. It was 2 different payments for Planet Fitness. You just reminded me. I had to pay monthly and annually.
Oh, that's weird. So did you sign up for 2 different places or 2 different?
I signed up for one thing, and I ended up paying monthly and annually.
Yeah, that's insane.
Had to cancel, but had to put a stop on both those because they came in 2 different ways.
Well, anyway, sounds like you will no longer have to deal with such a thing.
I want to sue them.
So
I want my money back.
I'm sure many people have tried. I hope that at least some of that has worked out. Anyway, that's my story.
So it's actually my last story. I thought it was kind of a fun thing that I found.
Okay.
So, I used to do band.
You did?
As a kid.
You did.
And I did concerts. And so I'm used to there always having to be.
Play?
So I played the saxophone, the trumpet, and the flute. Now, let me be clear. While I technically did play those 3 instruments, the only one I was any decent at was the flute. I was a horrible trumpet player and a worse saxophone player, just to get that all out there.
Anywho.
But, so, I'm used to what it's like to be conducted. When you're in a concert, you have a conductor. They usually have a little stick, and they're waving their arms, helping the performers keep time, yada, yada, yada. Well, there was always a limit with modern day conducting. And you know what that limit was? A conductor only has 2 hands.
Oh, okay. So what are they?
In Dresden, they debuted a 3-armed robot conductor.
Oh, it's like a robot arm, like 3 weird arms, and they are just all...
To be able to conduct 3 different parts of a performance at the same time.
Okay.
Because when you're doing these large performances, oftentimes different segments of the band are playing in different time signatures. So one hand's doing all this, and one hand's kind of going a bit slower for these guys over here.
So they have different cadence.
Different cadences, different rhythms. And with the 3-armed robot, the robot is able to conduct to 3 different parts of the room at the same time to help everyone stay in time, and you can perform music that never could be performed before.
Interesting. So this is actually kind of a technological advancement that now what is it controlled by like one person, or I guess like it programs the
it's essentially running a script at that point.
Yeah.
It knows what the time signatures are, so all you have to do is watch your specific arm, and it'll help you keep time. It has been done before. There has been a 3-arm robot before, but this is the best one we've had yet.
Okay.
It was actually started by a conductor. I'm trying to find his quote. I thought it was kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Someone told him that, say, hey, and you're doing a good job conducting everyone else, but no one's conducting me. Sometimes I need you to like conduct for me. And he said, well, I don't have 3 arms.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, I don't have 3 arms. Oh, brain blast, and the rest was history.
And so this is created. Is there like a video? I don't know. I might try to.
I will find a video so we can put it up on the pod.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, I can kind of imagine how that would look in action. I wonder how like people in bands feel about it. It might seem a bit like impersonal perhaps at the start, but maybe you just get used to it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated my my band teacher / conductor in middle school. Had it been a robot, I would have been much better off with it, and that's all I'm saying.
That actually reminds me, I didn't get this story, but I figured you might. Did you see the Tesla event with the the taxi thing?
So I kept hearing about people testing out Tesla products. I never saw what event it was.
Yeah, so Tesla had this event. I'm actually like finding this in real time where they debuted the Robotaxi. And like I said, I don't have like a whole story about this, but basically they unveiled a Robotaxi. It's supposed to be this idea of a car that completely drives itself, and it's a taxi that can be deployed to sort of do Uber around the city for you. So like, let's say that you and I have this business and we want to buy like a fleet of these cars. They claim that they'll be $30,000 each, although Tesla's known for not exactly following through on those prices for the products that they always announce. But yeah, and so like we just send this fleet of cars out into the wild, and they go and do like Ubers for people, like Uber and Lyft and stuff like that. And so basically like, they'll make us money driving people around, and they don't have to be like driven or really managed by us, and they'll like come back at the end of the day. And
but I thought we hated self-driving cars. I thought the narrative was that self-driving cars were horrible and they cause accidents, and that's not good. Is it good now that Tesla's doing it?
Well, this isn't even a product that actually exists yet. It's supposed to be released by 2027 or something. And Mike is like messing up. I'm just gonna like hold it or something. But anyway, it's supposed to be released by like 2027, and yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know that full self-driving isn't even like in regular Teslas yet. So like, I don't know how this exactly is going to go, but
it screams to me as we wanted to have something to show this year, and that this is it. Because we don't like self-driving cars. I'm fairly certain that the popular narrative is that that this is not a thing coming to America anytime soon.
Yeah, apparently people, shareholders were not impressed. The stock price actually dropped 60% after this.
Golly.
After this showcase, because I mean, people felt that it was sort of vaporware. Here's a picture, by the way, of it. This is at least the model that they showed.
Oh, it looks cool at least.
Kind of like a render of sorts. But yeah, it has like these like sort of flying open side doors.
It looks like the sedan version of a Cybertruck.
Yeah, it only holds 2 people, so only 2 people can like sit in there at a time. They said there's not, at least at the show, I don't think that there was like an emergency takeover feature. Like, let's say this car did go haywire. Normally with your self-driving car, you'd be able to like hit the brake and like you can kind of take over for it. These don't seem to have a feature like that, although I think that they claim that that might be different in the final product.
It depends on how you look at is the car driving itself safer than the person driving themselves?
That's the idea with self-driving cars, is that like the car would do a better job than a human with like, you know, human error and all of that.
We all seen like iRobot, and I remember in iRobot that everyone had autonomous cars that just drove for you. And that was the way it was. Everyone was like, it's safer this way. And Will Smith's like, not me. I drive my car. I'll never let these cars drive themselves. And when the robot apocalypse happened, the cars kind of went haywire and people were getting like hurt and killed. And he drives his car. So
they also had this robo van that they sort of unveiled. This is just like a single one that they had. And it's like a van that I guess can hold like maybe like 6 or 8 people or something like that. So it's kind of a larger version of this.
This feels like an event where they were just showing off prototypes.
Yeah, these are very early sort of prototypes. They are claiming that this stuff will come out at some point, but who knows? Another Cybertruck was supposed to launch a lot sooner than it ended up actually launching. But it's cool. And they also had these like robots, just these like walking, talking robots that were like serving drinks and talking to people.
Did they have like human-like faces, or did they actually look like robots?
Here, let me see if I can find a picture of it.
Because I always see, I don't know how legitimate the articles are, but I always see these articles about these androids, like actual android type of robots from like China, where they all have like human skin and faces to try and look kind of realistic.
No, it wasn't like that. Actually, if you want to, you can look up like just like the Tesla robots. Because you'll probably, it was, they looked like this basically. Yeah, like they were serving people drinks and kind of walking around.
Okay. As long as it looks like a robot, I don't have that big of an issue.
Now, they were speaking to people. Some people claim that actually the robots' voices were just humans remotely talking from behind stage or something. So I don't know how true exactly that part is. But this Elon claims...
It does say there were humans controlling Tesla's bartending robots.
Yeah, now Elon claimed this will be a product also in the future where it can take care of your kids for you or do chores around the house and going to help you with different tasks.
That's what the iRobots were supposed to be doing.
So how do you feel about this?
I just mentioned iRobot twice in the last 5 minutes, so you know how I'm feeling.
So not positive.
Nah, I mean... I try not to be a doomist about all like technological advances. Like I don't mind robots as long as they say just that. Servants, they don't have free will or rights.
I don't think I would want one of these walking around in my house, I'm being completely honest. I think I don't have too much of an issue with it maybe being like at a restaurant or like at an event. Like maybe that's fine, but I just don't think I would want one like in my personal space.
Here's my thing. Okay, it can't be stronger than me. All right. I
think that's crucial.
I have to be able to beat that robot in a fight. Like, it's not that I think it will happen, but for my own like sense of safety, I have to believe that if this robot came like pushing on me, I could push him right back.
My big concern always comes from the fact that, like, you know, those things that have like 1 billion cameras on them, and so just the privacy concern seems.
I think for voyeurs and different type of perverts, they'd like that.
Well, yeah, but like, so let's say that you've got one in your house because you know it does your chores and kind of helps you out. Well, like, what if it just like was like you were coming out of the bathroom and it was like right outside the door? Like, would that just not feel a little? Oh,
they also they should not be able to open doors.
Yeah, no, but like, let's say, first of all, yes, for sure. But like, let's say it's like outside your door. Like you just walk out the shower and you come out the door and it's just there. It was like waiting to.
It's like getting hit.
I was waiting to clean the bathroom or whatever. But like also the cameras are all still like.
I don't care how expensive it is. It's getting hit.
Or like you're asleep and it kind of like walks into your room.
Nah, see, that's why I can't open doors.
But it was cleaning. It was just cleaning while you were asleep for efficiency.
In fact, the robot can't have hands. I'm going to go ahead and down. You know what? It can only be a Roomba. There we go. Yeah, that's the only acceptable robot to me.
Okay, so I've got 2 more quick stories. They're sort of related. So Tom Holland launches his new non-alcoholic beer brand.
Boy, you could just tell Tom Holland released some non-alcoholic beer. He looks like the type.
Well, there's a story to this. It's called BERO, B-E-R-O. And he says, for me, BERO is personal. After 2 years on my sobriety journey, because he was an alcoholic. On my sobriety journey, I wanted to create something that reflected my lifestyle and values. This beer isn't just for those on a similar path, but for everybody who appreciates quality, craftsmanship, and living life to the fullest. BERO delivers the taste and experience of a great brew and never asks you to settle for less. So yeah, it's a brand of non-alcoholic beer, and you can. It's now available to buy online. There's a few different like varieties and flavors. So he says he's been sober for more than 2 years, and so he's sort of celebrating his sobriety by starting this brand.
So while he was shooting Spider-Man,
I guess he had a drinking problem.
Full-on alcoholic?
Or maybe developing one or something.
It colors my opinion of Spider-Man.
So something interesting about this actually, to me, is that like there are a group of people, like more and more younger people, I don't know if you've seen the statistics, are drinking less. Like Gen Z just is not as interested in alcohol.
Right.
They don't drink as much. They see it as like a health thing. It's kind of now become like a social stigma for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if like, the beer industry and just alcohol industry in general is maybe a little bit concerned about that. Like people are not, buying as much. And so, I don't know. I thought like that this is sort of a for him, that's like a thoughtful business to start, because people still want kind of the aesthetic of drinking beer. Like, maybe you still want to be able to go to a bar and like order something, or maybe you want to like be able to have social outings or just experience kind of the frothiness of beer, or kind of just whatever.
And you don't want to have to stick out in the group. So everyone's getting their drinks. Oh, just water for me.
Yeah, no one wants to be that person.
You don't want to be the water guy.
Unfortunately, I'm like typically that person. I don't really drink very often. So I think this is kind of cool. Like I think it serves that next generation of people who, also it might be a good way for like recovering alcoholics to still get their fix. It sort of reminds me of like vaping, like vaping was sort of posited as like a way to get off of cigarettes.
And now there's a bunch of PSAs trying to get off vaping.
Yeah, now vaping's got
boy, that didn't work out. Now did it?
But this seems like this is sort of a little bit better, cleaner option than that. So
it makes sense. Our generation was a generation that for the most part said no to smoking. Mm-hmm. That the generations before us were such heavy smokers, was in all the advertising. And if you can pay attention to like movies and TV shows from just from the like early 90s, late 90s and in the 80s and the 70s, everybody was smoking.
Yeah.
But then the millennials are like, yeah, I kind of like my lungs, the color that they are, whatever that color is. I think pink. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like lung cancer, so we stopped smoking. Now, would it be? I'd still think it looks cool to smoke. I wish I could get the look without actually doing it, but it can't be done. I think vapes look dumb. That's just me personally.
And so now, like the next generation is
they're saying no to drinking, and that's fair. The alcoholism. At one point, people didn't believe alcoholism was a thing. Mm-hmm. If you had a drinking problem, they just said, "Oh, you have bad self-control, go to jail."
Yeah.
Now we're starting to recognize that alcoholism is a thing, and it's a slippery slope. You have a bad day, and you have a couple drinks, and the next day you're still feeling kind of bad, so you have a few more, and then you realize it's been 15 bad days in a row.
Yeah. So, would you try some BERO?
So I do not like beer regularly, so I don't think I would try non-alcoholic beers. So I don't like the taste of beer to begin with. Some would argue that means I've never had a good beer, but I'm kind of terrified to know what a good beer tastes like.
All right, so now time for the pot of greed. You'll notice I'm now holding my microphone because it was giving me many issues.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
So yeah, as you guys know, you can submit questions and we will put them in the pot and answer them. You can have the first one if you like.
Okay.
very good questions came in, I feel like, this week that I
Paul,
added
you
in.
suggested that we do more than just our usual, right?
Yeah, I think for this episode, let's do like an extra card. We can draw 3.
Yeah, I'm
the graceful charity episode.
The graceful charity. Gotta drop 2 then.
We draw 3, we gotta drop 2. No, we'll do 3 questions. I also was thinking, first of all, if you guys want to submit any questions for the pot, feel free to do so at the link in the description. And also,
while you're down there, go ahead and join the members.
Yeah, you can join the members while you're at it. You can also check out our Rode link. We have a Rode affiliate link. So if you want to get any like professional audio supplies,
show them the logo.
Yeah, I've got my Rode mic, my pod mic right here. And we use a Rodecaster for this podcast. We use Rode microphones for all our videos. So yeah, that would help us out. They're just a small sponsor of the podcast. But yeah, next week I was thinking maybe we could do like an emptying the pot sort of episode again.
Oh, we're gonna get in that pot
because like we only do 2 questions each week, like 2 questions each week, but there's still so many questions,
right?
And so it'd be good to maybe do another one of those episodes. We did it once before where we just kind of like
got after as
just
many
tear
as we
through
could.
like a bunch of them in one video. So
that's fair.
So please submit your questions. Anyways.
What made you stop going to locals as much? A negative experience? ?
Oh, yeah, I remember when I wrote this question. So, we've kind of mentioned how we don't really go to locals often for Yu-Gi-Oh! Too much anymore. And this person wanted to know if that was the result of a single negative experience or like some small set of like maybe complaints or things that just happen at Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals that we don't like a bunch.
So for my personal experience, I wasn't a locals kid before. I didn't even really know about trading card game locals until after I'd already gone to college. And by then I was so used to not going to locals. It's not that I even made a choice to stop going to locals. It's just I never truly started. I would show up for the tournaments I wanted to go to, but then I just started wanting to go to fewer and fewer, and until it was only sneak peeks.
Right. For me, there's certainly some small pet peeves I have about local game stores. It's not any one particular store. I feel like all card shops kind of to varying extents will have these sorts of problems. I'm not big on clicks. I think like sometimes card shops have clicks. And again, that's not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing. That's just a culture,
it's
social people thing. For me, it's like, and I think I've talked about this before, I don't think that I get enough value out of going to locals sometimes in terms of like my time investment. So it's like I have to kind of drive there and I can play in the tournament, but maybe I only get like 4 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh! In, but I'm like at locals for several hours and I just don't feel like I have enough to do. And meanwhile, with a game like Master Duel, I play that a lot, I am able to just like get lots of reps of Yu-Gi-Oh! In.
So you're saying Master Duel murdered locals?
It did affect it for me, and I don't know how that if that's affected other people. Like if other people maybe feel as though they're just less inclined to go. But even dueling to some degree could be that for somebody. But that's my story anyway. What do you think would like change your locals going experience, if anything?
I guess the average like trading card game locals would have to be a bit different for me, I think.
Different?
I don't find, because I didn't have really a big locals lifestyle.
Yeah.
So the draw of, just going there, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With the boys, it's not that...
It's just not like high up on your...
interesting to me.
Oh, you play Digimon at locals.
I do. I play Digimon locally because
there's not an online sim, first of all.
Number one, there is no other alternative to playing Digimon. But when I'm playing and you losing at Yu-Gi-Oh! Can feel so bad that I don't really feel like going to locals to do that nowadays.
Yeah.
Now, if I play and lose at Digimon or some other card game, I still can find a lot of entertainment in that.
So it's just the nature of it.
But like... losing at Yu-Gi-Oh! In a shop, in a shop that kind of smells like, I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyways.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not give me enough enjoyment when I lose. I think that's kind of why I don't go.
Okay, so here's a fun kind of quick one. Do you still get a rush out of summoning a boss monster in Yu-Gi-Oh? Because it's become so much more common now that your boss monster kind of gets, it's easily to summon like a 3,000 plus monster on the first turn, or just kind of on command whenever you need it. It doesn't really feel like something that's maybe built up to as much as it might have once been. Do you still get a rush out of summoning your deck's boss monsters?
So in advanced format Yu-Gi-Oh, no. They like the modern day, or the boss monster that passes is kind of gone.
Yeah.
When I play like my Plunder Patrol deck, I don't even know who my boss monster is in that deck, and I'm just happy to summon any of those guys. It doesn't really feel like none of them really sticks out as like a boss for me. Mm-hmm. And if I'm playing like ninjas or some other deck, I just don't feel it when I'm playing advanced format.
I feel like they've really blurred those lines. Like with Plunder Patrol and ninjas, for instance. Like, because you oftentimes can kind of like cheat the monsters out, like that's the gimmick of pretty much both of those, and many other archetypes are like this. It almost feels like the boss isn't a boss because you didn't really work for it. It's like part of the play cycle.
But like the same is true for Snake Eye. When I've played Snake Eye, I just like it's
like, is Diabellstar the boss monster?
Like Diabellstar is really cool, but she's like, not about to stay.
Yeah, I mean, she just summons immediately. Like, you just send anything, you summon her, and then she might just leave the field right after.
Real chance she's getting linked right off.
And same with like Flamberg. And so, for me, the slightly dissenting opinion I have on that is that I enjoy summoning boss monsters in Master Duel because of the animations. I do love a cool summon animation. I like that they have it tuned to the attribute that your boss monster is. Mm-hmm. So like, there's like fire and a fiery kind of effect behind them, or wind or light. I think it's kind of neat when like the dark effect always annoys me because a lot of the best monsters in the game are dark. So whenever they're like summoning, Tearlament's Kaleido Heart or Kashtira Arise Heart or like IP Masquerena, it gets the animation, you see the darkness behind them, and it's very, like, for me, that definitely gets me into it. In addition to like, that's usually when the music changes. So I think that Master Duel, I know I'm always like glazing this game, but Master Duel has made boss monsters feel fun again for me because you feel their impact on the game. Like when I summon, for me, like Vanquish Soul, Caesar Valius, right? Like he shows up, that the rock effect is like behind him or whatever. He's like holding up his hand and there's like the glowing energy in it, and the music changes, and that gets me going, and that really gives me a rush. But I think that within the TCG, so many archetypes have blurred the lines of like what even is their boss because everything is so accessible that I don't maybe get as much joy.
I think the last time I got joy playing advanced format it was summoning Dragoon in the Shining Sarcophagus deck, because it's not a free.
Wait, like Gandora?
No.
Dragoon. Which one's Dragoon?
Red Eyes and Dark Magician.
Oh, okay. Red Eyes. Okay, yeah, cool.
Because objectively, that's a boss monster right there.
Yeah,
that is a
it does
boss
feel like
monster.
One. It does feel
now,
like one.
A lot of decks have cheated them out many times, and I've had the opportunity to play decks like that, and it felt like nothing. I can make 2 or 3 of these little guys, and it means nothing. But in that deck, where it does not really have a guy like that, and I usually I'll make him in a play where I've they thought they shut down my sarcophagus play, and I just pivoted into a Dragoon to defend myself, and then Dragoon feels good. I'm like, yeah, he has to be good or I lose.
Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, cool.
All right, what's this? It says play the ABC Archetype Challenge. 1 archetype
for each letter
of
the alphabet.
Bonus normal without a letter?
Yeah.
Oh, name one without a letter.
Okay, I remember this question. This is fun. Okay, this will be a fun challenge.
So how do we do it?
Okay, so we're both gonna try, and we can't name one the other person names.
So
we're gonna go down the alphabet.
So you're gonna say an A1. I'm gonna say an A1. Okay.
Or we could ping pong if you want. Make it go a little faster.
Okay, we'll ping pong.
Okay. So this is the archetype alphabet game. You got to go A through Z and name an archetype for each letter.
Okay.
A. Azamina.
B. Bistio.
C. Oh my gosh. Is there a good? Oh my god! I only got to C. Wait. There's a good C.
I can think of a C one.
Okay, bail me out.
Chemicritter.
Okay, all right, cool. So I'll have to now take D.
Okay.
D. There's something with dark. I'm completely failing
I got a D one
this.
again.
Okay, what's your D?
I got Destiny Hero.
Destiny. Okay. Oh man. See, I was gonna go with like Dark. I thought of like XX Saber Dark Soul, but I feel like there's like an archetype that's just like named Dark some things.
Well, now you gotta take. You gotta take.
All right. Okay.
E.
E. Element Sabers.
Okay. F. Fabled.
Okay. G. Gladiator Beasts.
H. Harpies.
I. Invoked.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, J.
J's kind of tough. Oh gosh.
Wait. Okay. I'm gonna take a risk here and claim there is no J archetype.
Oh, that can't be true, right?
I mean,
Yu-Gi-Oh! J.
I can't think of.
I can think of like cards like Jack-a-Bolin.
Yeah, I can think of cards with a J in their name, but I can't think of a series of cards that start with J.
All right, I'm cheating. We are failing this challenge.
Jack's Knight, but I don't know what you like. That whole archetype isn't called Jack's Knight.
Jinzo. There's an archetype. Yeah.
Jinzo.
All right. H.
Wait, no, we did J.
Okay,
so
H I J K. K. Huh. Is there one? Do you have a K? God, like
I'm just thinking of all the J words and how they don't have anything to do with I can mention a Yu-Gi-Oh archetype. Knight? No, there's no Knight archetype.
Kashtira.
Kashtira. Okay.
Kashtira. I cheated again. I've cheated twice. I'm not doing well here.
L. Lyrilisk.
Okay. L. M. This is so easy. I know there's like an M. Melfi.
Okay. N. Oh, I just thought of a K one.
What?
Nightmare.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's not an N.
N.
N. Let's go. Nouvelles.
Yeah. Okay. Nouvelle. O. O.
I know you mentioned one today.
Oh, I have?
A no archetype.
Oh, gosh. O.
Oh.
O. God. Bail me out.
Orchestra.
Orchestra. Okay, yeah. Or do Orchestra support.
I'm gonna give you P now.
Okay. P. Predaplant.
Okay. Q. Q. Q?
Q?
Quick. No.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes with a Q.
Q? There's so few.
Man, God.
Q. I can't even think of any words that would help me here.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Queen. There's no archetype of queen in the name, right?
okay. According to this, there actually isn't a Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype with Q,
Oh, okay. I was
or
gonna
at
say.
least like I'm just on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia, and like it literally like skips the letter Q, like it just doesn't seem to have one.
So I will go. So that means we end the challenge because there
Okay.
is no Q.
Anyway, what's after Q? Q R.
R. Okay. R.
Raid
Rescue
Raptor.
Ace.
Okay, yeah. S. Snake Eye or something.
T. Element.
Yeah. QRST. U. Umbral Horror.
Ooh, I like that. V.
Voiceless Voice.
Oh, that's a good
Or
one.
Vanquish Soul.
Yeah.
I play both of those. They start with a V.
W. What are they called? The little ice ones. Wind, ice, Wind Witch.
Okay. W. X. I don't know anything starts with an X. X Sabers.
There
Of
you
course.
go.
Okay.
It's X in the name.
Y.
Y.
Yosenju.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. And Z. I'm gonna say Zephyra. Okay, that works.
Cool. We did it. It took a while.
We could have done better.
We
could have done better. Guys, let us know if there's a Q archetype that we just.
Can you name one that doesn't start with a letter?
Oh, that doesn't start with a letter at all?
Ignister. That was going to be mine. I don't even know if there's another.
That's a good one. Doesn't start with a letter at all?
I think that might be the only one. Like, because Ignister is like a symbol. I don't think anything else.
I can't think of any that just have a symbol. Yeah, I give up.
Okay, well, we'll go with Ignister. Cool, that was the Archetype game. We suck at it. Okay, next question for me. As Yu-Gi tubers, do you still view Yu-Gi-Oh as a hobby, a business, or a mix of both? That's a very good question.
So,
Curious, how do you feel about
as Yu-Gi tubers? That's a charged question because that means it out the gate kind of has to be a business.
Right.
He didn't ask me before I was a Yu-Gi tuber because back in like 2013, Yu-Gi-Oh was purely a hobby for me.
Yeah. How do you view it?
So I look at it as how much like casual Yu-Gi-Oh do I play now versus how I played in 2013. I played a lot more in 2013, so that meant it was a hobby. Now I play most of my Yu-Gi-Oh for the channel.
On camera, yeah.
So even though I enjoy it, I guess for me, Yu-Gi-Oh is more of a business than a hobby. I don't get as many like just
casual
free games as I used to.
Same situation. And I'm gonna be real for a bit. I hate it. Not I hate Yu-Gi-Oh. I hate that is,
I just hate Yu-Gi-Oh so much.
But I do hate that that's how I have to consume Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that I don't really always feel like I'm getting to physically sit down and play. Like between you and me, I want to actually like play you in Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes with our actual decks. And it's tough because we're always trying to record something, right? Like we got to record retro, whatever, or some segment. But I know that we both do still build decks and we want to be able to play those sometimes. And even then there's like this sort of thought in the back of your head that it's like, okay, well, I should be recording this. Like there's like fans who want us to like make videos where you play your real life decks, right? Like I want to see Alec playing his Plunder Patrol or his like whatever, and Paul playing like voice versus voice. And it's like I would like that, but I kind of want that to be like our just private duels, our own personal thing. There's also other business aspects of it. Sometimes I feel like I view products as content. Like sometimes I have to buy like these retro packs for videos. Mm-hmm. And then once I'm kind of done with it, how much of the stuff will I keep? Maybe the cool pulls, the rest just kind of is bulk. Same goes for these mystery boxes and all that stuff. So I kind of dislike that. I sometimes wish I could take a bit of a break from it all and just play some honest Yu-Gi-Oh without a camera and stuff. And I guess that's kind of what my Master Duel time is for me. That's why I don't stream a lot of Master Duel, is just because it's my game. It's my Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't want it to be played in service of entertainment, So anything else you have to add to that?
I mean, no, that sums up my thoughts on it for the most part. If we had rush duels, I'm pretty sure I'd play more.
Yeah.
I think if we had physical rush duels, it might completely take all my Digimon playing time. Because right now, Digimon's my for fun TCG. But I think if we had physical rush duels, I'd be playing that.
Yeah, so if I had to give it a ratio, I'd say it's 80% business, 20% pleasure, something like that.
Yeah, about the same.
All right, back to you. Last question, I guess.
Last question.
We're doing bonus questions this time.
Not Yu-Gi-Oh related, but what PC, tablet, or laptop do you guys use for productivity?
Oh, what would we recommend?
Oh, okay.
I remember this person, they mentioned that they, I think, had an HP Pavilion laptop. They were looking to upgrade. They just wanted something for productivity.
All right. You asked for it. I recommend the Razer Blade series laptops.
Oh, those things are so overpriced. They're good, but
they asked for it, man. I'm a Razer fanboy. I'm stuck. I'm in trouble. I can't get a laptop that's not a Razer.
Yeah. So for me, I like giving tech recommendations, and I guess I'd have to know more information on what it is that the person is going to be doing. I think that I'm not a big fan of getting big chunky laptops that are big, good for editing and stuff. I think that I want to do all of like my work at a desktop. So any like kind of serious like writing, editing, editing videos, editing photos, I would just suggest getting a desktop. I think that tablets are tricky. I've had a tough time finding a really practical use for a tablet in my day-to-day life. They're decent for media consumption, but that's not really productivity.
I mean, everybody's different for what they'd use a tablet for, right? I think
we
don't
them.
have the types of hobbies where we use our tablets for work. For us, they're mostly for media consumption.
I mean, we use them for the podcast. They're certainly useful for this. But
I'm so jealous, Paul. Got that big old tablet. My tablet little.
Yeah, I have this
Even
like
though
iPad
really
Pro.
My tablet's not small, but yours.
It's funny. We have this thing where the two of us. I want your size tablet,
and I want your size tablet, but yours has that dang Apple logo.
Yeah, and like for a computer, I use like a Microsoft Surface laptop. It's thin, it's light, it's sleek. I don't really do any hard work on it. It's mostly just emails, browsing. Yeah. When I'm traveling, it's kind of useful for handling, kind of doing some channel stuff, but.
Because I've had 2 Razer blades, and my current one is specifically for video editing. Like, because they're gaming laptops, they can do that. But this one, it's the silver one where it has better specs for video editing, and I have edited videos on it. It's very doable. So even if it was overpriced, it certainly got the job done.
Right. So
also. At one point, airport staff suplexed the laptop and damaged it, and for some reason, it works just fine.
Yeah, you get to know
build quality.
Yeah, it's got build quality.
There's a big old dent in it.
My last question is, oh god, I always gotta end with the existential stuff.
Oh god,
what do you think Yu-Gi-Oh has to do to survive over the next 5, 10, or even 20 years? All right, in the interests of keeping this not another hour of talking, I'm going to try to limit myself and let you do more of the answering. And I will just sort of throw in tidbits.
2 points that Yu-Gi-Oh needs.
Okay.
It needs multiple rarity options for competitive cards. That will take the stress off of players who want to play competitively and get the best cards. Because the thing is, right now we're experiencing a lot of burnout in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. People, they are tired of putting in so much and getting so little out of it.
It feels daunting.
We can't just give everybody prize support. We can't just give everybody a car when they win YCSs. But we can lower how much it costs to get into this game competitively. And that by having multiple rarities of competitive cards, that would help a lot.
Yeah, so you think you're talking about like kind of just changing that rarity distribution thing, making it more OCG-like. I do agree. I think it would just help with accessibility and taking that price stress off of people.
Like I hate? I hate that the Moch armies are secret rare cards. When I look at them, they look like they should be commons. Yeah. Just because like this the overall style of the card, and if they were commons, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh community would rejoice because. Because right now, what does a Fualos go for? 100 and something?
Like 140, something like that.
Yeah, that's just dumb. Like, if it were a common, it would run you like a buck. Because a good common will run you. Or even
just like make it like a super. It can be like $5 or $10. I don't care. I just don't want these like $100+ cards.
It's nonsense. I don't like it. I think.
Second thing?
Oh, yeah. Second thing is we need some type of a introductory or a lower power level product to bring kids into the game.
Yeah, getting that younger blood.
Like it could be Rush Duels, but it doesn't have to be. It could be something else. Just something that where we can just pump in fresh faces into this game because I mean we're here, but we're all old.
Yeah, we're gonna age out. People
we're gonna make mistakes and keep having kids and stuff. So like we're gonna have less and less time for this.
Yeah, I mean I do think that getting some younger players in would be good. Mine are going to be quick. I think that we need a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime reboot. I've said it for a while. I'm actually working on a video right now. It might be out when this podcast comes out on the main channel about how I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Does need an anime reboot. I think just to reinvigorate that interest, kind of recapture some of that faded glory. We're like on the precipice of it. We've got the Noah Lyles and the Zayn Malik and the football player. Like
a Yu-Gi-Oh! Reboot animated by like Mappa.
Oh yeah, see that. Now
like,
you're
so
cooking.
Like Yugi cool. And Kaiba throw hands while they run along the like spine of Slifer the Sky Dragon.
It's just a Jujutsu Kaisen fight. Yeah, I think that an anime reboot would be good, and I think that similar to your kind of entry-level product, I think that we need an entry-level format. We need something that is lower power, something that is a little bit more enjoyable. Too often, it feels like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is playing on edge.
Yeah.
You know, games can end so fast and feel so
stressful.
So stressful and perilous. I mean, I've literally heard people say, like, you know, Chris was always mentioning how, like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like literally just gives him anxiety. Like he likes playing it, but like he just always feels like when he's playing, it's just you're on eggshells. It's so tense. You have to like watch every little thing your opponent's doing because so much is happening and you have to keep up with it all. And like one mistake is like death.
I remember competing in toss format, and it wasn't sharking, but it felt like I was sharking when I would force my opponents to commit to leaving phases. I would never let my opponents ambiguously enter or be
the moment
in a phase.
that you get to that point is when you know like the Yu-Gi-Oh's hit a new level of like tension. And
because I wouldn't even have anything. I was like, their turn would start, and I could see their thinking. So I would say it for them.
Are you in
standby phase?
Standby phase.
He's like, do you have anything in your standby phase? And I would force them to leave their standby phase if they did not have anything. Now you could say that was BM, that was bad manners.
I mean,
but like, I don't do that whole ambiguous phase thing.
That's kind of part of the tension is you have to like read everything and like make sure that everything is announced and confirmed and like just so much game state stuff. So it's not to say that a lower power format would take any of that away because the rules would still be there. But I at least think that if like it didn't feel like you're gonna lose on the very next turn because you mess up one little thing, you know. And my third one, I said I only had two. This will be quick. I think double down a bit more in the digital games. Master Duel, Duel Links, kind of. I think they're where a lot of the future lies. In Yu-Gi-Oh, I have a strong hunch that soon it could just be you play a lot more digitally and you just collect the physical cards. But that's more of a hunch. Who knows?
I mean, if Konami truly embraced it, I could see that.
So yeah, that's my answer. That's your questions.
Yeah, that is all of our questions for this episode of The Pod of Greed.
Make sure that you guys, of course, leave some submissions down below with the link in the description because we are planning to do pretty soon another like just emptying the pot. So we'll answer a lot more questions, have an entire podcast dedicated to it.
Well, unlike last time, we'll try and spend a little bit less time on the questions. Remember last time, we didn't even get through that many.
Yeah, we'll try to like go a little fast. We only got like 8 done. This time we can do more. Anyways, just some reminders, guys. If you want, you can join as a YouTube channel member for just $2 a month. It helps to support the podcast, so we'd appreciate that.
Yeah, y'all are doing it big now. There's like 50 y'all.
You can also catch us this weekend at NYC. New York Comic-Con. New York Comic-Con, we hope to meet a couple of you there. It'll be me and Alec, and we'll probably be around the Yu-Gi-Oh area at some point.
I'll be everywhere. I will be everywhere.
Cool, I think that's going to be it.
Then we will see you guys in the next one.
Not quite. There's one more thing. You mentioned last week that you wanted to see the Joker movie.
Oh, okay.
And I do want to hear your thoughts on it. I know that you have seen it, and I have also seen it now.
All right, so we all know the narrative. The Joker 2 is a bust. It's not as good as Joker 1. How did I feel about Joker 2? I liked it. I was entertained by Joker 2.
Why?
I thought Joaquin Phoenix had an amazing performance as expected. I thought it was a very natural ending for the Arthur Fleck character. Oh, I guess that's a spoiler. It's a natural ending for the character, Arthur Fleck. I mean, I got what I went into the movie for. I wanted to see a Joaquin Phoenix performance. I wanted to see, because he said multiple times before he wasn't going to make a Joker 2. Then he did. So I wanted to see what was in this movie that made him say yes. And I feel like I got it.
Okay, yeah. I saw it. To keep it brief, it's definitely more of a musical than a movie sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
I think that maybe that was fine to me, although I think there were maybe like just a few too many songs. Like sometimes I wanted to see more progression in the story than just music.
I thought the songs would be a bit better. Like there were good songs, but Lady Gaga's in the movie. I thought we were about to get like a real performance at some point.
I mean, I still think she killed it in all the songs that she did, but there was nothing like kind of
I feel like they held her back.
My second thing, speaking of Lady Gaga, is I feel that Harley Quinn, I like the role that she sort of has in the movie as it relates to Arthur, without like spoiling it too much. But I feel like the characters you don't get big Joker and Harley Quinn moments. Like I kind of, in a movie about them, I expected to see them, doing more like chaos and arson and like, just really getting away with murder type of thing. And you don't really get a lot of that. And so that kind of made it fall a bit flat for me. It's not a very intense action-filled movie. It's kind of more of like a study just into the mind of the guy and sort of the aftermath of the first movie.
It reminded me of the Ted Bundy movie about the trial of Ted Bundy. Mm-hmm. It felt like a very gritty like story about what would happen if someone went postal and killed like 5, if we find out 6 people. Yeah. Like I didn't mind that, but we went back and we watched the trailers for Joker 2 because I didn't actually watch any. I made a point to not see a single Joker 2 trailer, which I'll just tell you how many movies I really watched in the last year. But I didn't see any trailers for it. I went to watch them and I feel like the trailers were a bait and switch.
Yeah, the movie's not exactly what the trailers sort of
like. I understand marketing the movie as if it's going to be the clown prince of crime and his girlfriend just tearing up the city, running around, blowing things up, like kissing in the rain, but that was not the really kind of movie that was. I don't know.
I don't care really for just giving numerical ratings, but if you had to give one, like out of 100 or out of 10 or whatever,
I'd give it a 70.
Like a 7 out of 10?
Yeah.
I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's a pretty interesting film. I think it has like some great film, well shot. The music and like kind of the themes are cool, but I think it's a good film, not a great movie. There's not a lot of action. There's not a lot of like story progression. And I think that if you go and see this in theaters, you might be disappointed as the average viewer.
It felt like the intention of the movie was to disappoint. Because the movie keeps you on the like edge of thinking
something is about to happen.
It's about to go crazy in a second, and it doesn't happen. And then like in 10 minutes, it's again like it's about to go crazy. Then it doesn't again.
Yeah, there's definitely sort of a feeling of like I don't know what the word is, but futility to it all. Yeah. For the character, but I won't spoil any more than that. If you guys are still interested and have not seen the movie, I mean, I didn't love it. But I think it's probably worth seeing to form your own opinion on.
So I take my recommendations of movies and TV shows very seriously. I did enjoy Joker 2. I would not.
I don't think you'd recommend
it to many people.
Yeah, that's true. I'll say this. I think if you get a chance to like watch it on streaming, where it's just part of your plan anyway, maybe you're really bored, that might be a good time to see it. I think that the theater experience, paying like $15 or something for a ticket, you might be kind of bored.
Like, I mean, at least if you're watching it on streaming, you can just turn it off.
Or scroll on your phone or something.
I do think if you got hoodwinked by that movie and you're just in the theater, that feels bad. You got robbed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that actually will conclude this week's Pot of Greed. Unless you're a channel member, stick around because right after this ends, we will be uploading the bonus episode.
What are we calling that? Game 2?
Game 2, extra cards.
Something like that.
You get to hang out. You're a channel member. We'll see you soon. All right. Pass turn.